back to another video. This is Bruna, and today we are going to be learning something super fun. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to crochet the super trendy checkered bikini top. Yes, this is it. I don't even have words to describe how much I loved this tutorial and this bikini top. I'm gonna be wearing this every time I go to the beach. And also, I didn't do the bikini bottom. I'm not sure if you guys want to see the matching bikini bottoms. I would love to show you guys, so let me know in the comments if you want to see the matching bikini bottom. Oh my god, I don't want to keep you guys too long here in the intro because I want to go straight into the tutorial because I cannot wait to share this one with you, and I'm pretty sure you're gonna love it because it turned out perfect. It's amazing. I love it. Oh my god, let me know in the comments if you loved this tutorial, if you loved this new project that I came up with. I cannot stop smiling. I cannot stop smiling. I'm like all over the place. So I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you do, make sure to leave your massive thumbs up as you always do. Also, don't forget to subscribe to watch more fun, cool and trendy tutorials, crochet tutorials like this one. So enjoy the video everyone, and let's begin with today's tutorial. So here we have all the materials we are going to be using in today's project, starting with our beautiful brand new bikini yarn from Tesson.com. So this one they just released, and it's the Splash yarn. Oh my god, I'm so excited to use this yarn in today's video. Also to wear these at the beach because it says here that it's water resistant, it dries fast, and you can also wash in the washing machine. How fun is that? It's like the perfect yarn for bikinis, right? And also for summer projects, if you want to crochet a top, like a longer top or even a skirt or a shorts, this one is going to be perfect because it's so airy and it's light as well. It's super light, and you also don't see any gaps in between the stitches, which are amazing. If you use a single crochet or half double crochet as I'm using here, it's going to be perfect, and you don't need to wear any lining underneath, which is amazing. So this yarn is 100% polyamide, so super stretchy, perfect for bikinis. Also 50 grams, 175 meters per ball. And lastly, this yarn is a sports weight number 2. So I'm pretty excited, I'm pretty happy with this yarn so far, and I cannot wait to share with you how this crochets. It's perfect. It's smooth and it crochets super fast as well because it's a sports weight, so I cannot wait. And the shades that I'm using for this yarn, it's brown and yellow. I am going to be linking them in the description if you want to get these particular ones here, but they do have a lot more different shades. These are just my shades, and I was so happy that they had my shades as well. So yeah, you can use the same shades as I am using. I love this combination, or you can use any other shade that they have on the website. And for my tools here, I have a measuring tape, a 3mm hook, a small pair of scissors, a tapestry needle, and also some beads. You don't need to use beads. This is just me being a little bit extra to add a little detail here at the end of my straps. And this one is a brown and a yellow, kind of yellow one, more like a wood, a natural wood color that it goes with my project. So yellow and brown. So this is all the material. So now let's begin with the tutorial. So this is the pattern that we are going to be crocheting and learning in today's video. This is a checkered pattern. This wasn't the very first time I did it. I did it when I was at my mom's house, so I even shared with you guys a few little clips on my Instagram of me trying this out. It's not perfect. I would say that I still need a lot more getting used to the pattern, but in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you how to crochet exactly the checkered pattern, also how to do decreases, which is a little bit hard, I'm not gonna lie. It took me a few tries to get used to it because I had to kind of understand a little bit how I would go up and then still keep the pattern looking nice. So I think I did it quite well, and I really wanted to share with you because it was my first time doing something with this pattern. The first thing you have to do is to decide which color you want to start with. It doesn't matter which color you start with. I decided to start with the yellow because I knew that the detail that I was going to do around here, the very first detail, would be in yellow. That's why I decided to do yellow. And then the very last one would be brown, in which is on the outside, as you can see. Once you know the color you're going to be starting, you need to know the sizing of the bikini you want to do. When I first planned, I wanted to do 16, 17 centimeters. And my bikini top actually turned out exactly to 17 centimeters, so I'm pretty happy with that. So if you want to do a little bit bigger, like let's say 20 centimeters, then you're going to be doing a chain that is 20 centimeters long. Also remember to stretch your chain as you create the chain to reach the sizing that you need. That's what I did. I'm going to be creating my chain and then I will show you how to measure, but just plan ahead on the sizing that you want to do. This measurement here is the very bottom of your bikini top. So if you also want to use a bikini top that you already have and you like the sizing of, try measuring that and then doing a chain that is the sizing of the bottom of your bikini top. So the very first thing we are going to be doing is creating a slip knot, and we are going to be chaining a chain that is long enough as the measurement that you want your bikini bottom to be. And when you're creating your chain, you want to make sure that it's a multiple of 7 plus 2. Right here I've done 42 plus 2, so 44 chains in total. So each of these squares here, they have 7 half double crochets each. So go ahead and create your chain. I'm going to be doing mine here, and then I will be back and measure this very first chain with you so you can see how to measure on the measuring tape. So here I have my chain of 42. So now I'm going to be measuring this for you so you know exactly how to measure to fit the measurement that you want your cup to be. And you're also going to be measuring your chain once you've done with your multiple of 7, and then once you know exactly how many you did, then you're going to be adding the extra 2 chains to go into the very first row. So I want my cup to be 17 centimeters. This one without stretching, it's 13.5 centimeters. And if I stretch, so hold here at the beginning, and if you stretch, as you can see, it reaches to 17 centimeters, in which is what I want. It reaches to kind of 16, 17. So that's what you're going to be doing here. Because I'm using a super stretchy yarn, I'm doing 3.5 centimeters less than the actual measurement that I need. All right, that's all you need to know. So you're going to be just checking and just stretching it to see if it reaches the measurement that you want. So once you have the chain with the measurement that you need, you're going to be chaining an extra 2. And now we can start with the very first row. So what you're going to be doing first is skipping the very first 2 stitches and then go into the third one. Do not count the loop here on the hook as a stitch. So you're going to be counting 1, 2. On the third one here, we are going to be going through and we are going to be creating a half double crochet. And for this pattern, I'm not counting the chain 2s at the beginning as a stitch. And then all you have to do is to create first here with the yellow 7 half double crochets, and the last one you are not going to be completing. We are going to be adding the next color. So here we have already 1, 2, 3, so do not count the chain 2 as a stitch. 4, 5, 6, and then for number 7 we are going to be just creating the very first part of a half double crochet, and then here we are going to be adding the next shade. So leave it like this. Here we are gonna get the next shade, which for me is the brown. And then all you have to do is to get the end of the yarn and you're just going to be passing it through all these stitches, just like this. And then you just want to make the yellow nice and tight so we can go and continue. And this stitch here is not going to be loose. So now you want to make sure that the brown end of this yarn that we just added to our project and the yellow working yarn is together with the chain so that we can create the next 7 stitches with these 2 yarns in between the stitches. So now you're going to go straight into the next one and you're going to be creating a half double crochet just like this. Make sure that these 2 are in between the stitch, and you're going to be creating the next 7 stitches with the brown. Remember not to complete stitch number 7 because we are going to be changing back into the yellow. So now to go from brown to yellow, we are going to be going into the next stitch and create just the very first part. We can drop the end of the brown, leave it here at the back, and we are going to be changing it into the yellow now. So you're going to be dropping the brown and grabbing the yellow, and then you're going to be completing this half double crochet with the yellow. Now the brown, it's at the bottom, make it nice and tight and put it together with the chain. Now here you're going to be doing exactly the same, so 7 stitches with the yellow, making sure that the brown, it's in between the stitch. Just a little tip here, when you finished the 6 half double crochets, just pull the brown a little bit more so it kind of straightens the brown yarn in between the stitches because it's going to be moving around. So just make sure that you just give it a little, kind of a little tug like this, so that it stretches this yarn in between the stitches. So now to go from yellow to brown, we are going to go into the next stitch, create the very first part of a half double crochet, and then now for the brown, you will see when you drop the yellow, it's going to be kind of on top of the brown here, as you can see. So you're going to get the brown yarn from the back. So it's kind of going to twist the yarn a little bit here. As you can see, it's twisted. So you're going to grab it from the back, holding it like this, and then you're going to be completing it with the next color, which is the brown. Just make it nice and tight, and from here we can continue. So now to move from brown to yellow, create the very first part of a half double crochet, and then you will see here now that the brown is going to be at the back and the yellow is going to be at the front automatically. See? So you're gonna get the yellow yarn. You see it's already automatic for me, but you have to kind of learn. You're gonna grab the brown with the chain and hold it in place, and then you're going to be completing this half double crochet with the yellow. Give it a little tug here with the brown yarn just to make this last stitch nice and tight, and then from here you can continue. So now to go from yellow to brown, you're going to first create the very first part of a half double crochet. When you drop it, you will see that the brown is going to be at the back, and then you're going to be just grabbing the brown one, holding the yellow together with the chain, and then just complete the half double crochet, and now you have the brown right on top. So now I'm going to be completing here the brown. So for the very last color, you can complete the 7 stitches, the 7 half double crochets all the way down the row, because we are not going to be changing the color for this one. We are going to be doing the next row with the brown as well. So we have finished with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 half double crochets. So to go into the next row, we are going to be chaining 2, and we are going to be turning the project, bringing the yellow yarn with you. I'm turning everything, you see? The yellow is already at the back of my work. Remember that we are not counting the chain 2 as a stitch. So I'm gonna go right on top of that very first stitch from the chain. So go right into that stitch, and here's going to be our very first half double crochet. Once you've done the very first half double crochet, pull the yellow yarn nice and tight so that you don't see the yarn here on the sides anymore. You could see that before it was kind of poking. Now it's together with the stitch. You will see a little yellow here, but that's completely normal. We are going to be covering that later with some single crochets and some slip stitches. From here, it's a little bit easier because you already have the base completed. You just have to follow what you have here on the previous row. So where you have the brown, you're going to be doing brown. So here we have 7 stitches, so we are also going to be doing 7. So Chain 2 doesn't count, so we have 3, 4, 5, 6, and the last one, 7, but don't complete number 7. Pull the yellow nice and tight so that it stretches in between the stitches. And now you're going to be changing to the yellow shade. So you're going to be dropping both of them. You will see that the brown is going to be at the back and the yellow is going to be at the front. So just grab the yellow and bring the brown together with your work. Complete the half double crochet. Pull the brown nice and tight to tighten that very last stitch. And then from here, you can just continue. Super, uber simple. So again, we're going to be doing here the 7 yellow. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, but don't complete number 7. Pull here the brown nice and tight. And now you're going to be changing from yellow to brown. So drop everything. You will see that the brown one is going to be behind the yellow. So you're going to be just following and doing what your yarn is telling you to do. So you're going to be grabbing the brown and bring the yellow close to the project at the back, and then complete the half double crochet, pull nice and tight, and continue. So I'm going to be following these same steps all the way down the second row, and then I'll show you how to go again from this row to the next one. So I'm here at the end of the yellow, as you can see. So I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 half double crochets. And remember that we are not counting the chain 2 at the beginning as a stitch. So you're going to be just counting here. You will see that I have 5, 6, 7 is going to be right on top of the very last stitch you can find. So here 6, half double crochet number 6, and then the last one is going to be right on top of the very last stitch. This one is going to be half double crochet number 7. So here we have 2 rows completed. The right side of your project will be this side here, because this yarn is going to be at the back. So here is the reverse of your bikini top. Then we have the right side. So now to move into the next row, we are going to be continuing still with the yellow until we have a completed square so that we can move into the next shade. So you can see here that I need to complete the entire square so that I can move on into the next square, the next shade, in which is going to be a little bit different. So I am going to come back to show you how to do that as well. But for now, we just have to complete this very first square here, in which I did 4 rows in total. So my squares, they are 7 stitches long by 4 rows going up, all right? So to move into the third row, we are first going to be chaining 2, turn project, and create the very first half double crochet into the very first stitch, not counting the chain 2 as a stitch. Pull nice and tight the brown shade, the brown yarn, and then from here you can just follow exactly the same as the previous row. So you can go ahead and complete this row, and then also another one, so that we have 4 rows in total. And then I will be back to show you the next step, which is moving from the yellow color to the brown so that we can start and create the checkered pattern. Just before I move on, I want to show you my setup where I have the yarns. So yarn number 2, because this one is the one that I've added later, so the second shade, it's going to always be on my top right side, so right here, and the yellow yarn is always going to be on my bottom left side. So it's inside a little bow, as you can see here. That's why the yellow, it's always going to be on top, and the brown is always going to be kind of underneath the yellow, so that it's easy to grab and it's not going to be twisting. I just wanted to show you because you can maybe use this setup if you are a beginner, because that's super easy to understand which one is going to come first and that they don't twist it. All right, if you keep them in the same bowl, they will eventually twist, and you don't really want that to happen because it's quite hard to untwist yarn. So just wanted to kind of show you my little setup here. So here we have row number 4 completed. So the very first squares completed, the very first row of squares. Also, I forgot to mention that you don't need to complete that very last stitch when you reach to row number 4, because now we have to move from shade number 1 to 2, so yellow, from yellow to brown. So first you're going to be doing exactly the same as we do when we change from brown to yellow here, when we change the shades right here and here and here and everywhere. So you're going to be first creating the very first part of a half double crochet, and then you're going to be doing that little twisty and bringing the next shade. That's all you have to do, super simple. And then here we are going to be following the same steps. So chain 2, turn project, and then now start with the new shade. All right, that's all we have to do. And then from here we are going to be following the same steps as before, as row number 2. So I'm just going to show you one more time. So I have here 6 half double crochets. When you reach to number 7, you're going to do the very first part, and then you're going to be changing into the next shade and complete the very last half double crochet with the next shade. And then from here you're going to be continuing the pattern. All right, so I'm going to be doing 4 rows following this pattern, 4 more rows until I have 8 rows in total, so that we have 2 rows of squares. So here I have the 8 rows completed. Also remember that you don't need to finish that very last stitch, because we are changing now from brown to yellow so that we can start the new row. And also the new row, it's going to be with decreases. So I'm going to show you how to do that now. So first you're going to be changing from brown to yellow, following the same steps as we did before. To go into the next row, we are going to first chain 2 and then turn project. Now we are going to be starting with the decreases. We are going to be having the first 8 rows going up without decreases, and then we are going to be doing 14 rows with decreases, but we are not going to do decreases all the way up. We are going to be doing 1 row with decrease, 1 without, 1 with, 1 without, 1 with, 1 without, until we have 22 rows in total from the very first row here. So that's what we are going to be doing. And then right here at the top we are going to be doing something a little bit different. So when I'm right here, I will come back to show you what we have to do in this part. So to decrease, we are going to be decreasing the very first 2 stitches. So you're going to first create the very first part of a half double crochet into the very first stitch, and then you're going to be keeping that on the hook, and then you're going to be doing that one more time into the next stitch. So now you're going to be having 5 loops on the hook. So all you have to do is to yarn over and pull through all the loops together. So that's a decrease. So from here we are going to be following the same steps until we have 2 stitches left. So here I have my 2 last stitches. So we are going to be also doing a decrease here at the end. So you're going to go through the very first one, create the very first part of a half double crochet, and then you're going to be doing the same into that very last stitch. And then you're going to be having 5 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all the loops on the hook, creating a decrease. So for this row, we are going to be having a decrease at the beginning and at the end of the row. So now the next row is going to be normal, so we are not going to be decreasing. So you can just follow the same steps and following what you have into the previous row. So as you can see, I'm here at the end and I'm going to be completing this row all the way because we are not going to be doing any decreases for this one. So decrease into the previous one, and then this one is number 10. So number 10 is going to be with no decreases. So now we are going to go into row number 11, in which is going to be with decreases. So chain 2, turn project, and decrease the very first 2 stitches. And then from here, you're just going to be following the pattern all the way down until you have 2 stitches left. So I got here at the end, so we are going to be doing another decrease at the end of this row. So we have one at the beginning and one at the end. So now we have to do one more row to complete this square. So we have 4 rows in total, I just need one more. So I'm going to be doing the next one without decreases. So I'm completing here row number 12. So now to go into the next one, we are going to be changing from yellow to brown. So we can go ahead and do that. And start the new row with decreases. So you're going to be following exactly the same steps as I showed you with these 4 rows here. So 1 row with decrease, 1 without, 1 with, 1 without, until you have 22 rows in total. So we are going to be having 8 rows for the very beginning here, and then we are going to be having 14 rows with decrease and no decrease. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, but there is something that I want to show you, so I will be inserting the clip right after when I finish here, is that when I get to kind of this point here, when the square is nearly disappearing, there is something that I do so that it looks a little bit prettier. So when I'm kind of in these areas here, I think it's around here, I will come back and then I'll show you what I do to kind of have a seamless row when I change from this square to the next one. You will see what I mean when I show you, but it's just something that I want to show you before I complete the 22 rows that I have to do for this part. So I got here where I wanted to show you the kind of the finishing of the square. You see, I only have 2 stitches here at the beginning and at the end. So this one here, it's row number 18, if you are wondering. So here at the beginning of this square was decrease, no decrease. So the next one is going to be with decrease. So start with a chain of 2 and turn project. And then here, where we have the yellow, we have 2 stitches left. This row is the one that we have to do with decrease. So here, into these 2 stitches, we are going to be doing a decrease. But first, you are going to be doing the decrease part, and then you are not going to be completing this one, this decrease with the yellow. You are already going to be changing it into the brown because the next one here is brown. So change it into brown, and then from here you can just follow the pattern. So I'm going to be continuing here the pattern, and then I'll meet you right at the end to show you how I do the ending here as well. So I got here at the end, so I'm going to be changing it to the brown before I finish here this row, and then I'm going to be doing a decrease following the pattern right at the end as well. So now we have one more row to complete this square, so you want to make sure that the yellow and the brown, the very last square, kind of half of this square, is still kind of showing at the beginning and at the end. So we are going to be starting this very last row for this square with a chain 2, turn project, and then here for the beginning we are going to be doing exactly the same as the previous row. So we are going to be first creating the very first part of a half double crochet, and then here we are going to be changing it into the yellow so that we can continue the pattern. So I got here at the end. To finish it off, I have to change into the yellow. So change it. And we are going to be completing this row with the yellow here. as you can see. So you are going to be doing that very last one. If we had more stitches, we would change into the brown, but because we only have one here, I'm going to continue with the yellow because we already have the yellow here. So all you have to do is to chain 2, turn project, and continue the pattern from here. Oops, there is a little stitch here, you see? So from here, you're gonna go right into the very first stitch and create your decrease. This row here, it's with decrease. The next one is going to be without, so this one is with. And then we can just follow the pattern all the way down. So that's the only little thing that I wanted to show you, the transition from this to this row here. You can see that it's pretty nice. If you find any other way, you can do as well if you know how to do it in any other way. But this is what I found the best. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue here the pattern, and then I'll show you the end, how to do the ending of this row so that you know exactly what to do. So I got here at the end, and we are going to be repeating exactly the same as we did to the beginning of the row. Remember that we also have a decrease here at the end. So I'm gonna do that as well. So I'm going to be completing here at the end with the brown all the way down. So here at the end we have the decrease, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So yeah, that's everything I wanted to show you. Hopefully you understood what I did, because that was the kind of the little tricky part that I found when I was decreasing. So I really wanted to show you everything that I did and that I discovered doing this pattern. So what I'm going to be doing now is just continuing here with my decreases. Remember that we are doing one row with decrease and one without. And then once I have the 22 rows that I have to do, following this pattern, I will be back, and then we are going to be doing the next part together. So here we have the 22 rows completed. So we did first 8 rows going up without decreases. Then we did here 14 rows, decrease and no decrease, all the way up here. And now we are going to be doing 12 rows with only decreases so that we can create the tip here of our bikini top. So we are at the moment right here. So we still have to do 12 rows to finish it off. So we are going to be following exactly the same steps, but this time we are only going to be doing decreases for 12 rows all the way up. And also you're probably gonna have to do that little trick that I showed you here from one color to the other, because I think there is another one here, as you can see. So you're going to be following exactly the same thing that I showed you from this to this next row. So I'm gonna go ahead, I don't have to show you this again because you already know what to do. So we are going to be decreasing at the beginning and at the end of every row until we have 34 rows. So this ending here has 12 rows in total, and then we have 14 and then 8 at the beginning. So here we have the 34 rows completed. I've finished here at the top with one decrease, 1 half double crochet in brown, and then 1 half double crochet and 1 decrease in yellow. So in total I have 4 stitches here right at the top. If you want to do one more row, you will be having a more pointier cup, because I'm going to be doing something a little bit different and I want it to be kind of a little bit rounder. Then I'm going to be doing it up to here. So from here we can now cut the brown from here, because we are going to be creating the details going around the cup. So the single crochets, the little squares here for the bottom strap, and then also the slip stitches that I decided to do on top of the single crochets, in which I'm going to be showing it to you because it looks really nice. So I decided to do that little detail, that extra little detail. So you can go ahead and cut the brown yarn from here, because we are going to be now using the yellow. You can decide if you want to do the detail in yellow or brown or any other color that you are using. I decided to do in yellow because then the last detail will be in brown. So first we are going to be chaining 1, and we are going to be turning the project, bringing also the brown yarn here so that we can feed into the single crochets. We are going to be first creating the 4 single crochets here at the top. So 1, 2, 3, and the last one 4. And then from here we are going to be creating single crochets all the way down the sides of the cup. So what I did for this part is just finding stitches. I didn't really count or anything like that, just finding stitches and creating the single crochets. So no secret, just creating single crochets where you can find a little space. So once you get here to the bottom, I'm going to be creating my last single crochet right into that very first little stitch that we have from the chain. And then to create the squares, we are going to be chaining 4. We are going to be skipping this very first one. We are going to go into the next one, oopsie, and we are going to be creating a double crochet. We are going to chain 1, skip the next stitch, into the next one, double crochet, chain 1, skip a stitch, into the next one, double crochet, chain 1, skip a stitch, double crochet into the next one. So you're going to be repeating this same step all the way through the bottom of the cup, and then I'll meet you right at the end. So when you get here at the end, you will be making the very last double crochet, but you will still have the chain 2 right at the end. So we need to create exactly the same as we did here at the beginning. So first you are going to be chaining 4, and then we are going to go right on top of the chain 2, and we are going to be creating a single crochet to attach that in place. And then from here we are going to be creating single crochets here on this side until we get here at the top where you will find the very first single crochet. So I'm getting here towards the top again. When you get here at the top, all you have to do is to slip stitch into that very first single crochet. And then from here you can chain 1, cut the yarn and fasten off, because now we are going to be changing into the brown, and then we are going to be doing the very last detail going around the cup. So this is how it looks like with the single crochets all the way around and the little squares here at the bottom. So you can decide if you want to leave it like this, or you can decide to add the last detail, in which I'm going to be showing you right now. So first I'm going to be doing a slip knot, and we are going to be attaching the yarn into any of the little squares here, right on top of the chain 1 space. I'm going to be doing right here at the beginning, because that's easier, and then it's going to be a little bit more seamless than here, right at the front. So I'm going to be attaching my yarn here with a single crochet, and then I'm going to be doing another single crochet into that same chain 1 space. And then every time here at the bottom, every time you find a chain 1 space, you're going to be doing 2 single crochets right on top of that. So this is going to be the detail for here at the bottom of the cup. When you get to the chain 4, you are going to be doing 4 single crochets going around the chain 4 space. And then from here we are going to be starting with the slip stitches. So you're going to go right into the very first stitch you can find, and then you go into a slip stitch. The next one, slip stitch. The following one, slip stitch. So for every stitch that you have here going around the cup, we are going to be doing a slip stitch. You will see the detail, it's super cool. You see that? It kind of squares a little bit the pattern, so I really like that. And also we have 2 colors, which is so fun. So I'm going to be doing slip stitches all the way around, following here the stitches. When you get here at the top, it's exactly the same. You're just going to be following the pattern and you're going to be doing slip stitches. So once you're back to the bottom of the cup, we are going to be reaching here the chain 4 on the other side. So you are also going to be doing 4 single crochets going around the chain 4. And then we are going to be having a very last square here, so create the 2 single crochets right on top of that. And then here we are done, so we can just go into the very first single crochet, slip stitch the 2 sides together, chain 1, cut the yarn and fasten off. And now we are going to be doing the strap that is going to go right on top of the cup, just like this one. And I'm going to be using both the brown and the yellow yarn for the strap. You can choose only one if you want and then go back with single crochets, but because I want it to be both colors, then I just decided to do a chain instead of single crochets. So I'm just doing a chain, I'm not going back with single crochets or anything like that, but you can decide how you want to do your strap. And then at the end I'm adding just a bead just to give a little detail to our bikini top. So get the brown and the yellow yarn, and then we are going to be doing a slip knot. So we are going to be attaching this yarn right in between the 2 shades here, so the yellow and the brown, right in between them. And I'm going to be attaching with a single crochet because that's how I usually do. So from here I'm going to be doing my chain, and I'm going to be doing a chain of 100, so you can do as long as you want. I did 100, but you can do less or more if you want to. And then once I have my 100 chains, I will be back, and then we are going to be doing the next step together. So once you have the length that you want, I have here 100 chains, I'm going to chain an extra 1, and then we can cut the yarn and fasten off. So now we are going to be adding the bead at the end of the strap. So I'm just going to be doing that. Once you have it inside the strap, we are going to be doing a little knot here at the end of the strap just to secure the bead in place so that it's not going to be sliding it off the strap. Just do a little knot, as you can see, and it's going to maintain the bead in place. And then I decided here at the end just to cut a little bit off, but I'm still going to be leaving a little bit of the end showing. So here we have the strap completed. So here we have the bikini, one of the cups completed. So the last thing we have to do is to weave in, and then once you have this one completed, you're gonna go ahead and do a next one so that we have 2. And then once you have both of them completed, you come back with me, and then we are going to be doing the last step together, which is adding the bottom strap. So here I have both cups completed, as you can see. So now the last thing we have to do is to create the strap that is gonna go at the bottom of the bikini top, and I have that one already completed, as you can see, because it's just creating a slip knot, and then you can chain as long as you want. I've done a chain of 260 for the bottom strap, so you can do as long as you want. I didn't want it to do super long because I wanted to keep the bow at the front of my bikini, because I love when the bow is at the front of the bikini, and we can always change it later because you can remove it and then you can have it at the back, on the sides, at the front, so you can actually just wear it differently every time. So I'm going to be leaving this one that it's already done with the bead here at the front, and I'm going to be using the other side here to go through all these little squares at the bottom here in a zigzag motion all the way to the other side. So when you finish this side, you're going to be moving this yarn to the other cup, and then you're going to be doing exactly the same here on this side. So once you are done going through both bottoms with your strap, the bottom strap, we can now finish it off by adding the bead at the end of the other side. Oh my god, we are done with our bikini top. I cannot even believe. I'm so excited, everyone. I was kind of nervous to finish because I didn't know how it was going to turn out, because this is my very first time using this pattern, the checkered pattern. So I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of nervous, but I'm not anymore because it looks amazing. Oh my god, we're done! How cute is this? Oh my god. The last thing we have to do is to try it on, of course. And then here at the front we are going to be having a little bow, and then here we can tie the top strap behind our neck. So here we have it. Look at this. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I cannot. I'm so excited, everyone. I'm so excited. Look at this. Isn't it the cutest bikini top you ever seen? Oh my god, I cannot even believe that we have finished. You have to believe me that I just finished recording the very last part that you saw previously. I cannot even talk. So I tried it on, I put a little bit of makeup. I was going crazy because it's amazing. I love it. It's the perfect fit. It's the perfect pattern. It's also my favorite colors, so I'm all over the place. I'm super excited, and I really hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. So yeah, everyone, this is it. That's how you crochet a checkered bikini top that is super trendy right now. Everyone is wearing. You can see these kind of bikinis everywhere on Instagram, on Pinterest, on YouTube. A lot of famous people are wearing this bikini top right now. They are doing kind of like the bikini top, the bikini bottom, and then also kind of like a little cover up. So maybe I'm gonna be having some more tutorials using this pattern for the summertime. So I cannot wait to share everything that I have in mind with you guys. I'm super excited. I loved how this turned out, so I cannot wait to share the bottoms with you. If you want to see, let me know in the comments if you want to see the matching bottoms. I would love to make one for you guys. So yeah. So if I don't stop talking right now, thank you. I'm never gonna finish today's video, so I'm gonna say goodbye here. I love you, everyone. Thank you for all the support, and thank you for everything that you do, all the love that you have for my content. It makes me so happy. I cannot stop smiling because I love this project and I love everything that it's happening. We nearly 100k, in which is incredible. Thank you, everyone, for nearly 100k. Love you all. So yeah, I really hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure to leave your massive thumbs up as you always do. Also, don't forget to subscribe to join the Brunachicality family and watch more fun, crazy, cool, and trendy and everything crochet tutorials here on my channel. So yeah, thank you everyone, and I'll see you soon next week on my next video. Bye!